this off because currently everyone's pointing to say that we're currently live. Hello and welcome, Internet.
Are we
My name
live?
is Ivan Van
Yeah, we're
Norman.
live. What's going
I'm currently hosting with.
Hi, everybody.
Let me take it in for you, huh? How's it going, GTM?
Oh, this isn't GTM.
Welcome to the Renegade Society radio show. This is going to be a very exciting, very bizarre episode. We're filming live from the GAMA Trade Show.
What are we doing here?
I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
But we have some special guest
Who
stars.
are these people?
Well, I'm not going to introduce you because
We
we're over
snuck
that.
in.
That's fine.
We have Rick Ankney,
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here.
and he's from Game Trade Media.
I am.
And
It's
if
a
you
fact.
haven't seen Game Trade Media, wow, it's an awesome show. It's on YouTube and Facebook Live, and you guys should definitely go check it out.
Yeah.
And we also have special guest star Ivan Van Norman.
Hello and welcome. I have started this off perfectly already, and thank you for having me on. So,
yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
It's gonna be special.
It is already special. The world is weird, and I appreciate being in the weird sea with my favorite weird man.
Yeah, we are the weirdest.
So my prediction
Weird
is
things.
this is the episode that we pull from syndication.
Oh, wow.
Wait a
So
minute.
you're lucky you're watching it now.
Are you syndicated? Is that what I'm hearing?
Maybe. What does that word mean? I don't know.
We'll sell into it later.
That's right.
So.
That's right.
It means pants in French.
Oh, is that true?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So we're all here and
Pantalones? Oh, that's not. That's
Well-
Spanish. Okay.
That's Spanish.
Yeah.
Let Sarah talk.
All right.
We're at the GAMA Trade Show, and of course, we've introduced all of us that are important. We also have Steph Hodge on the social media in the chat room with you guys.
Impression of Steph Hodge right now?
And she is also going to be our voice of God for the evening. So
Hello.
Yay!
Yay!
Success!
Go, GAMA Trade Show.
Nice.
And that is a perfect intro to some of the amazing announcements we've already made this week. So we announced Monday, that we're going to be doing Power Rangers games. So what do you think about that, Rick?
So, as a fan of the Power Rangers from the 90s and, Jason David Frank, yes, absolutely. Everything Power Rangers I'm excited about. I even like the most recent movie.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
It got a lot of hate, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I'm friends with everybody over at Boom Studio.
Ah.
And so I read a lot of the comics that they put out already. So I'm hoping that the flavor of the comic might leak into the games you all are going to be making.
Nah.
No? Perfect. Because I also like change and difference.
That's right. So are you going to read Shattered Grid?
Yes.
The crossover?
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
with Hyper RPG and how they're... Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I think that's really great because live action role playing games are really popular right now, and Hyperforce has been awesome. If you haven't seen that show, definitely go check that one out too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, no, every freaking Zach and that whole team over at Hyper RPG, they were my OG crew when we started the Twitch stream for GNS way back in the years. And what they've been doing with Hyper RPG and in particular with Hyperforce has been awesome.
Yeah.
So, and I'm so happy they're able to partner with not only you guys, but also with the IP in order to just knock it out of the water.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Power Rangers is going to be fun. What color Ranger would you be if you were a Power Ranger?
I would be a White Ranger.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, think very high of yourself.
Yeah, I do. I'm very powerful.
Okay.
And my Zord is the best.
Okay, that's it.
right, yeah.
Good show, guys. We'll see you later.
White Ranger. What color Ranger would you be, sir?
I'd be the Green Ranger.
The Green Ranger?
Yes.
He was a traitor.
Whoa. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, bad guy. All right.
You're reading into it in the way that I want you to.
Oh, okay. Well played.
Yes. I'm the Lord of Dark RPGs. Of course I'll play the traitor.
I see. It makes sense then. But you gave it all away, so.
I know. Well, you were looking at me with that slack-jawed Scott look that you have every once in a while. What? So,
Whoa. That's what happens when you're working with Sarah all the time. You just befuddled.
See the thing before this, to keep the trader mechanic up and worried, before this, Scott was like, it's our job to make sure Sarah's as uncomfortable as possible getting up on her. What he doesn't realize is I just flipped the card on him.
No. I didn't say uncomfortable. I said just destroy her. You're underselling.
That's fair.
So this all started because Rick and Scott and I played Clank on a live show on Game Trade Media, and of course I beat them, obviously. And
No, we didn't. We played Clank. You cheated at Clank.
Absolutely cheated.
Yes.
There were cards like in her sleeve.
Yeah.
In back of her collar.
Yeah.
It was. I thought I was playing Deadlands and Clank together.
Yeah. It was.
And she was
right.
the poker, the hustler.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, she does like the hey, look over there. I mean, come on, really? Like who does that? Like
for it.
Yes, I know because I looked over there.
Yeah.
Whose fault is that, Scott?
Sarah's.
Too bad. So what color ranger would you be?
I think I would want to be the Blue Ranger because the Blue Ranger like was always doing like all the science stuff and had like all sorts of gadgets and things like that. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Also Renegade Blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yep.
You know,
The
you gotta
only
do it.
ranger is red.
I think I'm with Steph on this one. Normally I would say green because green is my favorite color, but I would be a red ranger. I'd be in charge.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And there we go. We're doomed.
Leadership by Red Ranger.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Now, I mean, Power Rangers, though, is about teamwork. So how could you be the Red Ranger? Oh.
So Steph, do we have any exciting Power Rangers questions?
Everybody's arguing on what colors, right? So we got
Yeah.
a yellow ranger in the chat room. We got a blue ranger.
Cool. Are they arguing about what Rangers we'd be or what they would be?
What they would be.
Oh.
okay.
So they're saying what's the best, and
Oh.
White Ranger. I mean, come on, everybody. White Ranger.
nobody said white ranger.
Usually my life.
Poor Rick.
That's awful.
People want to know if there's going to be a traitor in whatever Power Ranger game we're making.
If there would be a traitor.
A traitor.
Well,
For the Green Ranger.
We will be true to the source material.
Nice.
How's it looking, by the way, the book?
The book? No, well, we haven't actually announced what we're doing.
Got it.
We've just announced that we're doing Power Rangers. We actually have several Power Rangers projects in the works.
Cool.
Yeah. They're all nice.
And awesome.
They're brilliant.
So moving on now.
Chitlins, what's up? How's dinner? So, it's tasty. I'm gonna let you lead the rest of this conversation.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're very excited about Power Rangers. It's
Yeah.
going to be awesome. But we did make some other announcements this week. Another thing that I'm personally very excited about, and I'm sure that Steph is as well, is that we announced that we are doing Reichelt with Frosted Games, and it is an Uwe Rosenberg game. And I love heavier RPGs. It's worker placement.
RPGs?
I love heavier Euro games.
Oh,
And
I was
now-
confused. Wait, is this an Uwe Rosenberg RPG where we
Amazing.
need to like farm and mine and level up our vegetable garden?
You can cosplay. You have to have like a shovel and some vegetables.
Uwe,
You
if you're
carry
watching,
around.
this is our next project.
My heart hurts right now. It's because my ache for this is so bad.
That's right.
Oh no. So yes, we're not doing Uwe Rosenberg RPGs. I'm so sorry, everyone in the chat room.
Never say
The
never.
Naked Meeple really wants one, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
Okay.
we'll have to put that on the 2019 schedule.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Did you say the naked meeple?
The Naked Meeple.
Put some pants on. Nobody wants to see that.
That's good stuff.
That is worthy. So,
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's
So
nice.
what else did we announce this week? We had some good stuff.
Let's see.
Um,
Well, Frosted game. So Uwe Rosenberg game is the first game in the Frosted relationship. There's a few others. I think he was at a convention in Portugal last week, and he was playing Reichelt. And I don't know if he was playing the other game. he was doing. So there's another game by a very talented, popular European designer. Check the Frosted Games social media, and if he's said who it is, let us know, and then maybe we'll talk about it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Scavenger hunt.
Go
Scavenger hunt. That's right. So we'll see. But it's going to be an ongoing relationship, which is really nice.
We're just going to get a deep web dump here pretty soon. Just everything that's necessary.
Yeah.
Dark web?
Dark web.
Dark
Did I say
web.
Deep web? I said deep web.
You did.
Yeah. Deep web is dark.
I heard it's very
the
dark.
Twilight Zone.
Oh, nice.
There's so many ways.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's all
Pretty
good.
exciting. So another thing we announced this week was Architects of the West Kingdom is the next game by Shem Phillips at Garfield Games, and we are going to be
Something here.
doing that in all English-speaking countries.
There we
So
go.
if you remember
Very nice.
Raiders of the North Sea, that little, Spiel-nominated game that came out last year, that was part of the North Sea trilogy, and Architects of the West Kingdom is the first part of the next trilogy that he's doing.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
Trilogies on trilogies on trilogies.
That's right. So you'll see a new game in this line once a year for the next 3 years.
Yeah, and I love Shem's games. He
Yeah.
just really has a good eye for what's going to be fun. And he also works with one of the most amazing artists in the industry, the Miko. I always love his stuff.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, he's really cool. So have you guys played Raiders of the North Sea?
I've only played it in demo with you guys
Oh.
on camera.
Oh, so we got to play with the expansions.
Yes.
Oh,
The expansions.
Is that something that we might be able to squeeze in this week? Not this week, but next week when you
Oh,
guys visit?
yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
That'd be super fun. You played him?
No. Do you want to come with us next week?
I am going to be at WonderCon next week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh, that's wonderful.
It's wonderfully WonderCon.
It is.
And I have a Sagas of Sunder panel.
Oh, very nice.
And then I have, and then I'm shooting on Sunday and on Wednesday. So sorry, kids.
Oh, it's okay.
Sounds fun.
It'll be fun.
I do like games.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good.
Occasionally
Oh,
playing them.
speaking of games, the other thing that we did this week is we showed everybody what we're doing with Role Playing World.
We did. Yeah, we
Pew, 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 pew,
we
pew, pew, pew.
played some kids on bikes.
Oh my god, it was so much fun! Yeah, we ran two groups of around 6-ish kids. The first session was I hate picking favorites, but they were a delightful group.
Okay.
The first group basically had some great synergy at the beginning, and they went and were hanging out behind the arcade before a van collided in front of the local ice cream store, and some dude with a backpack was haggling out of it, and it ended up with a kid in his butt in a Holstein field, and he had to pick it up, and there was a giant grub about this big who was trying to wiggle around.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Huh.
It was very kids on bikes-ish.
Very kids on bikes. Yeah.
So, for those of you that don't know, Dan Norman wears many hats, obviously. And one of the hats that he wears is as co-owner of Hunter's Books, who we are working on Kids on Bikes with.
Yep, so we're in a co-publishing agreement. Hunters Entertainment is working with Renegade in order to put out 2 RPGs this year. First one is Kids on Bikes, which was actually developed by Doug Litovansky as well as Jonathan Gilmore. It's their first RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked to Doug last week.
Yeah, and
John.
We talked to John
We
last
talked to
week.
John.
Yeah.
I talked to Doug last week. We all talked to John last week.
Take 2.
John is a great game designer, and he had a really awesome take on how to do this genre and make it really accessible. Like it's a 90-page soft cover rule book. It gets you in the action. You get collaborative world building. It's everything we like about RPGs, but without having to go into the deep dive.
Yeah.
You know, it's great for one-offs or like a trilogy session. Haha, trilogies.
Sorry.
And it's pretty. It's nice. You know.
Yeah.
So and it was a lot of fun to play last night.
Yeah, my favorite thing so far about the system is twofold. I really think that the world building exercise that you can go through and create the town where you're going to play.
Storyboard cards that
Yes.
I was laying out
Those
last
are cool.
night.
Yep.
Yeah,
that was really neat. But then the way they solved the powered character, right? In that kind of genre of if E.T. is going to be part of your story,
Right.
you can't be the alien with the superpowers. Not everybody can be the alien with the superpowers.
E.T.
That's
you
right.
Can't all play E.T. and then just pick up a superhero RPG, okay?
That's right. Well,
Or a Super Sentai one.
I mean, there was a whole ship full of ETs.
Yeah.
I guess we could all be those guys in the ship,
Right.
waddling around and waving goodbye to ET.
Yeah, but that's not fun.
No.
a
That's
lot
for
of
a
ETs.
cliffhanger.
No,
It's a lot of
no,
ETs.
no. That's why they came up with a good solution.
Yeah. So the idea is that the powered character, is collaboratively collected and played by the entire group, and usually each one has 1, 2, or 3 like aspects or elements, a little bit like Fate Core,
Yeah.
where you have like an aspect that you can activate in the game. But then when a player is ready to essentially move along the story of the powered character, they have to activate that kind of aspect to kind of like take over.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's basically got buttons and knobs that they can use in order to play the game. But and it can also shift around as well too. So it's like whoever has the like the power can be able to play into it. But there's storytelling mechanics and there's playable mechanics inside of it.
No, it's so cool. Like I've said this before. My 11-year-old, right, who is literally a kid on a bike, has seen this book. Like it's always on my screen as we're kind of sending this thing off to press, and he's like this just constant disappointed little child that walks in my office and is like, "Can we play Kids on Bikes tonight?" And I'm like, "No, I'm busy." Okay. So he'll have his day.
One day.
That's right.
That propeller beanie's gonna come in the mail. All right.
Nice.
What?
That's a Calvin and Hobbes joke.
Yeah.
He gets
Yeah,
it. He
yeah.
gets it. He knows what's
Yeah.
up. So, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum, like literally could be farther away from Kids on Bikes as far as like games that Hunters Entertainment's putting together. There's a game called Outbreak Undead, which is a zombie survival simulation RPG. It is thick with survival horror, and it's not meant to be a fun, uplifting.
No.
Everyone gets to go to the party and have a
No.
good time. It's like the start of the campaign is about as good as it's going to get.
Yeah. I loved your intro
Oh yeah.
on the show.
Oh, on
where it
We're
was-
Alive? Yeah.
Yeah, on We're Alive. It's like, this is as good as it's gonna get, and we haven't started playing yet.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of you will die.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's
Nice.
very likely that you will. But that's part of the adventure when you do survival horror, is that you kind of accept the inevitability, the doom,
Right.
And when you are working in a place where like the apocalypse has occurred, and you occasionally get those little glimpses of hope, and you continue to play out when terrible things are happening around you, that's a different feeling.
Yeah.
And it's fun to explore.
Right. Yeah. It's like like death is inevitable. It's just a matter of time,
Right.
and how much longer can we?
And I also
Can we
enjoy the
survive?
fact that it's like that characters. So one of the reasons, and one of my favorite conversations I had was actually with some of the guys over at Sandy Pearson Games.
Yeah.
Is that when D&D first came out, it was about glorified hero upliftment. It's like it's about how can I kind of make myself into something that grows with each campaign. I get
Right.
more loot. I get
Right.
more magic items. I get
Right.
more levels. I get better, and I defeat every challenge in front of me.
Right.
And then when Sandy Pearson saw that, he was like, you know what? Let's go the opposite direction. So when Call of Cthulhu first came out, it was like every session the players got more and
Yeah.
more worse off. They degenerated
Yeah.
more and more,
Yeah.
and they were not the same characters they were by the end of the campaign that they were at the beginning.
Right.
And that was like that first time that kind of like emerged into the role-playing game world. And it hadn't really, like, shout out to the Demon Lord and a few other ones that play in dark lands like this. There's a lot of dark and spooky RPGs, but really that idea of that you can have a good time and fail miserably in the story all at the same
Right.
time. You know?
But for Sarah, who just wants to win games at any cost,
Right.
the way you would win this game, Sarah, is just be the last player alive.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You're the
After
last-
making sure that it was my fault that you all died.
Right. So in Outbreak
Yes.
Undead, the way this would go is Sarah would be the one, like, you're running away from the zombies, and she like trips you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
When it's-
Poisons you, and
Yeah,
at
it's
night.
her turn to keep watch, and she just comes over like, "You upset me today."
That's right. Yeah.
Have you seen Annihilation?
She does, and she doesn't even do it in a nice way. She just takes a syringe and then just fills it with air, and then just goes
Right.
straight in there.
Right.
So,
Right. And as you-
I am not polite when it comes to character deaths.
and in the last few seconds of life when you wake up, just
Standing
stares
over,
you in the
yeah,
eyes,
dark, yeah.
just makes eye contact.
with the last battery in the flashlight.
Right.
I'm using it on you.
That's right. That's right. Just want you to know in those final moments.
Yeah.
It was me.
And it's what's so kind of interesting with it too is just kind of like Kids on Bikes. You can make whatever outbreak scenario you want.
Yeah.
And like the last session I ran, which was at PAX Unplugged, I actually had a scenario in which did you ever see Night of the Comet?
No.
That old zombie movie. It's like okay,
no.
well, spoiler alert. There's a comet, and when it passes, it makes the dead rise. So. That's cool.
That happens all the time.
But this one was what I had is I had the cataclysm of the world was that an ice comet like crashed, and it was like a dinosaur killing size comet, right?
Yeah.
But since it's ice, it had the properties of dry ice, so it started creating a fog. So after hitting like a major body of water, it basically like shrouded the world into a corrosive fog that like cut all the metal, burnt cloth.
Whoa.
And basically, unless you were wearing like a class 3 hazmat suit with like that level filters onto it, like one breath of it is enough to drive you insane.
So everybody's basically their characters have to survive in these suits. That's it.
Yeah. But the
you live
fog
in a
is
bubble.
heavy enough. It's light enough that it doesn't go underground.
Mole people, here we come.
That's
So
right.
it's a little 12 monkeys
Yeah.
and a little the fog.
That's neat.
But so it's and in the world, like having the infected is barely ever happens. Like it takes someone going crazy and then however long it takes for a human to expire for them to stick around. The real fear in this scenario is cutting your suit while you're scavenging.
Been there, done that.
That's true. Yeah, she lived that in real life.
Really?
I did.
Yeah.
I used to be a pulmonary immunologist, and I
Oh
worked in
my
a spacesuit every day.
gosh.
And so, like, I had
Did they make
situations-
Contamination
spacesuits in
is
your
a-
size?
No, but
Lilliputian.
They did, but they did it in my
Was it
boss's size. So
like-
my boss was 6'9", and he couldn't come into the facility where I worked because he was too large for the suits.
Right.
we
There's
had.
not
Wow.
they don't.
No, they didn't make
Astronauts
them.
have a height limit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that's I mean, contamination is huge. in
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So-
we were very careful.
That may be a little too real for you than something like that, just to be able to get into it. Because a lot of like some of their survival kits is essentially like duct tape.
Right.
Oh
know,
yeah,
you know.
I know exactly the 15-step process it would take to get into one of those suits. I did it
Wow.
every day,
Wow.
at least once a day.
That's amazing. I should consult you for when I write this.
Let me
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, because I'm legit making it. We call them the strain series.
Yeah.
So each adventure module is a strain.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna.
Nice.
Yeah, this is the fog strain. So.
So when you left that job, did you get to keep the suit?
Well, no, because you never kept the suits, so they were disposable.
Yeah.
Every time I left the facility, I
Yeah.
had to completely take off everything, and not a single thing that was on my body left that facility except for me or in the autoclave.
And they burn it
That
and
you
then
know
filter
of.
it. They burn it and then filter that smoke.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's
So-
actually true. They do burn most of it.
Yeah.
So all of the
Wow.
metal and stuff gets
Yeah.
autoclaved, but it had to be a higher pressure and a higher temperature than normal because of the stuff we were working with.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Terrifying and cool.
Yeah.
I mean, chlamydia. Come on. That's what.
No, it's Coxiella.
Oh.
Coxiella
Ah,
Burnetti is what I was working on.
Whoa.
Yeah. No,
Whoa.
basically, Sarah was going to be the person in the new Planet of the Apes movies that wipes
Right.
us out.
Right. She comes out.
But instead, in Sarah's case, it would wipe everybody out, and all the dogs would get smart, and it would be
Yeah.
Sarah and all the dogs.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that.
And then suddenly Pugmire.
Yeah.
Pugmire exists. Yes.
Suddenly Pugmire exists. So.
It's a pug, right?
Pugmire is a role-playing game put out by Onyx Path Publishing, in which the world has been taken over by uplifted dogs that live in a far future post-apocalyptic world, and they have tried to reverse engineer man's technology so that they kind of live in medieval Europe a
yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
But
It's,
there's
it's
a,
very
makes any
fun.
and they worship man like gods.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the code of man. You
That's
know,
right.
where the first tenet is be a good dog.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Sarah's not down with this. She wants the dogs
Oh my
to
God.
totally do away with
It was-
us. and-
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
We did a No Survivors on the GNS stream when Zach Eubank was still part of the Twitch, and that was was so fun.
Oh, I bet.
Pugmire was so fun. I wish I kept that show going. Yeah.
It's cool.
Very neat.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes. Question.
Hey, we have
All
questions
right.
from chat. What's up?
Yeah, so one, are there Goonies and Kids on Bikes?
There is not the Goonies, but there are Goonie-like characters that you can totally run. Yeah, if you want to go to, like, say, I don't know, Northern Washington, and go and find Hindu gold on some kind of cove, then by all means do so.
Colin will be appreciative of that.
Cool.
And what's the ideal number for kids on bikes?
Oh, for play, just for gameplay?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's kind of the question that everyone. That's a question you could ask for every role-playing game.
Yeah.
I personally feel like 2 is a wonderful game. If you have a game master in 2, that can be a lovely game. Right? But you know, I ran a 7-person game last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really just up to the DM.
Yeah, I think
You
it's
know?
personal preference.
Personal preference.
Absolutely.
It can be a lot to juggle 7 people and 7 storylines all into it. If you are new to GMing and you're interested in playing, 4 honestly is a beautiful number.
Yeah,
I
like the
5 if you want to mix it up, because then you don't have the people don't naturally team up.
Yes.
So when you get 5, you automatically create different pairs that can come together, and that makes for interweaving storylines more interesting.
Yes.
But if you're just trying to like get the handle on it and you want to lean into those groupages a little bit, 4's fine.
Yeah, 5 is perfect because it takes 4 to take down a Sarah. That's generally that's generally you need. I mean, to be safe, because if you go with less, you might lose somebody. So if you go with 4, you can pretty cleanly take down a Sarah.
So let me count here. 1, 2, 3. Oh,
No,
I'm good.
we've got Steph off camera.
she's on my side.
So
Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna write a Kids on Bikes campaign, and instead of like a Demogorgon or something, it's gonna be the Sarah.
So Sarah.
That's right. That's right. The Sarah in the woods. Don't go in there. No, the Sarah.
Sarah's an organization. It's the Scientific
see, I like this.
Agricultural Resource Agency.
Oh.
That is pretty good.
What is this, like
Perfect.
Spectre?
Yes, and Sarah's the head of it, and
Yep.
it's amazing.
Yep.
And she
She
named
has
the acronym off of her, and she's the boss, and she will kill you if you look at her wrong.
So, and instead of a cat, she's got this deranged giant dog
Yeah.
by her
Yep.
side.
Its eyes go different
That's
directions.
right.
It's also hairless,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah.
And it's got one of those genetic disorders where its tongue has to naturally it's like an ugly dog.
Oh yeah.
It's just an ugly dog.
Except it's enormous.
Well, that's
It's
from
like
the
150
mutations.
pounds.
Yeah.
Why have you come to meet me today? What news have you for Sarah?
That's right.
So the next time we record, this just needs to be the RPG we play. So that's fantastic.
I will run that. I'll run that so fucking hard. You don't even know. You don't even know. You laugh, but you don't know.
So we need a party of 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let gay fish be gay fish. All right. Let's do this.
Oh my goodness.
Jeff is asking, can we have the Transformers versus GoBots battle where we're all robbed of as a child?
Transformers GoBots?
Versus GoBots.
In
battle.
general?
In general.
So I would go out and buy some GoBots and Transformers and go at it.
at
home.
it.
Yeah,
Go.
right.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can.
Yeah,
nobody
you can do that.
Why do we need to do it?
Yeah.
I'm just the middleman.
Wait, I don't
You've
know.
got free will. You're a human
Yeah.
being
I don't
with
know.
disposable income, presumably.
Wait, was this Rob?
This was Jeff.
Jeff. Who robbed you of this as a child? Was it your parents? Did they take away your GoBots?
Did you have GoBots and then some bully took it away from you?
Do you need to play Kids on Bikes to resolve your problem?
Yes.
That's what you should do.
Yes. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Don't take it out on the bully. Don't
Yeah.
take it out. That time's past.
Yeah.
Play Kids on Bikes.
Jeff,
Kids on bikes.
I don't know if you have kids yet, but when you have kids, let them play. Just let them play.
We're not helping you.
I'm sorry, Jeff. And thank you for liking Renegade, and I hope you still do.
I just imagine poor Jeff at home with his mother be like, you can have one or the other. They're the same thing.
Yeah.
And just tears.
Tears.
That's right.
GoBots aren't Transformers, Mom. They're not. They aren't, and they're
No.
the same way that Beastmasters
No.
are not Transformers. Okay. They're Beasts, Mom.
We don't speak of that.
Yes. I played Beastmasters versus Transformers all the time.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
I used to take my Star Wars figures and my G.I. Joes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
G.I. Joes are helpless against Star Wars figures. It's like no competition. I mean they got guns.
First off, Star Wars figures are like, I can't even bend my arm. G.I. Joe totally articulated.
Articulated karate chop action.
It doesn't help.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Pew pew lasers and laser swords.
Blasters versus like handheld RPGs.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the Ewoks versus the Empire.
Which the Empire
Wait.
lost.
Hello.
Bad analogy.
Bad example.
It was a bad example.
How about Ghostbusters and the real Ghostbusters team up?
And is this mashup time? Is this mashup time, USA?
So that game is made by AEG.
yes.
Smash Up. I highly recommend. It's very good.
Yeah,
It is
it's
good. Yeah.
selectable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, is this Stump the Panel?
All right, what you got? What you got, Smash Up crew? Let's do this. Let's do this.
Wait, hold on. Wait, sorry.
Let's do this. What else you got, Smash Up panel?
I've officially lost control of this panel. I can no longer be a Red Ranger. I'm sorry.
That's right.
I give up.
Also, you're welcome.
Oh man.
So what else did we do here this week?
What else do we do? So, for you that don't know about the GAMA Trade Show, we can tell you a little bit about that. So, this is a really cool event that's just industry only. So, it's retailers who are awesome and we love them, distributors who help us get stuff to the retailers.
Do we love them too?
We do love them
All
too.
right.
They're wonderful, especially the ones like Alliance with Game Trade Media.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Who is letting us use, obviously, their fantastic stage this evening. And then also publishers, and we even have designers here. So it's pretty much a closed industry show where we get display new stuff that's not even out yet. We have a ton of prototypes here. Like, I'll give you a secret. This is not a real game yet.
Is it CGI?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We have a really cool crew in the back running the CGI.
That's a
for us
green
this
screen
evening.
box.
That's right.
That Johnny just happens to be able to lay imagery over that fast and that well.
Thank you,
Nice.
John.
So TLDR Cool Kid Club, GAMA Trade Show. All the cool kids.
That's right.
Hanging out doing board game stuff.
That's right.
Also RPG stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, seriously, this is the one show where I get to see a few key people every single year for a few short amount of times, and GTS is one of the easiest ways to just hang out with.
That's right. By key people, he means nobody here.
Yeah. So, Rick, what have you been doing at the show?
Okay, so my purpose here is to interview the publishers and designers and others to talk about the different programs and projects that they're working on for the 2018 year cycle. I get to see and show to everybody that watches us all the neat new games coming out from all the different publishers, all the different initiatives like International Tabletop Day, and Free RPG Day, all these other amazing events. We talk about all that cool stuff and let our audience see it right then, right now.
Get GAMA Trade Show at home.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Where can they see all this stuff?
Well, they can see it live on our Facebook page. We do Facebook Live. Tomorrow we have a bunch more publishers coming up. We've already had Sarah up here and talked about a bunch of cool games with you.
Oh.
Wonderland.
Yeah.
So, how'd she do?
Well,
This is my employee review,
okay,
right?
so on camera,
On a scale to 1 to 10.
I would say about, what's her favorite color? Green? 3.
3.
No.
Green 3.
Green 3.
Green 3.
A green 3, please.
Green 3. Rhymes with green tea, and I hate green tea.
4 blue. 4 blue.
4 blue.
4 blue.
4 blue.
Red 9.
If you want to see how she did, just go onto our Facebook page, and the image that has been locked in as our placeholder image is me like this, and you like this. So that tells you everything.
I sense a little revenge.
It was great. Johnny pointed it out. Thank you, Johnny.
So I do have control of this YouTube feed after we're done.
It's gonna be me over here.
For some good. Nice.
But yeah, that's pretty much what Game Trade Media does here. Back home, we have a few original shows that we do. Painting Happy Little Minis on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. I have Dave Taylor, who is an amazing professional painter that sits with us and teaches me, because I'm horrible. I am literally the worst.
Yeah, me too. I'm not good.
Kurt, who's also in here, he's in the background, was my original co-host on that. And that was literally all he called me every episode. You're the worst.
Cool. Nice.
And then we also have a program called Building Character, where we take different RPGs and we do the character builds out of those to show everybody that it's not difficult, and that's actually one of the more fun aspects of role playing, is just building that amazing character you get to play.
Yeah.
And then we also have Board Games and Beyond.
Yeah. Cool.
Those are good names.
Yeah.
Board Games and Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
It's hard to find shows that have board games in the name that aren't the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Board Games and Beer, you know.
Those are a lot of diverse shows too.
Yeah.
So how did you get started doing this?
Wow. So I have 5 stories in my life.
Was it part of like a court order, parole, community service,
not at
sort
all.
of thing? Oh, okay.
All right. So I have no background in any of this film stuff or media thing at all. I right out of high school, I joined the Navy. I was in the Navy for 20 years. I did medicine for 20 years, which was a blast. I had a great time. There's military stuff, but it was a great experience. When I retired from the military, the week I retired, I got hired by Five Finger Death Punch to be their head of security. And when I started working with them, I became their production manager. And I did that for a year. Going from a military structured life to that was insane, but it was an interesting experience again. And so I kind of played in music for 2 years. And then I picked up a camera, started doing photography, going to shows, doing cosplay photography at different events. And I met my boss, Josh Jeppy, at Dragon Con. And he's just like, man, you seem like a lot of fun. You are very personable with all these people walking by that you don't even know. Why don't you come do that for me up in Baltimore? And I was like, I'm retired, whatever.
Nice.
That's the best answer to anything. Yeah.
So, and when I got up there, it was mainly for the comic book side, because as you know, Josh and his family is Diamond Comic Distributors.
Right.
So we were making fun videos around that under the Comic Wow banner. And then we were just sitting around one day and kind of talking about the different companies underneath that, and Alliance Game Distributors came up. I was like, wait, what? Because I didn't know the whole structure. I didn't care. I was like, they're a part of us. Why are we not doing stuff with them?
Right.
And started making video content under Comic Wow for Alliance, and I was like, ugh, nobody's gonna search Comic Wow to find games, and we already have Game Trade Magazine.
Right.
So let's go Game Trade Media.
Right.
And here we are a year later,
Nice.
and just blowing it up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make great content. I always love
Thank you
watching
very
your
much.
stuff.
Thank you.
And please, everybody in our chat, go watch some of these shows on Game Trade Media. They're super fun.
Thank you.
Awesome. How about you? How did you get started?
Oh God.
Oh, I opened up a can of worms.
Yeah. Which one? In media or in publishing?
How did you get here in this seat right now?
I walked here from my hotel room.
Oh, nice.
So I've lived in LA for 11 years now. I originally went to school down in Orange County. I lived in Eugene, Oregon, and then the day I graduated, I drove down to LA, basically to do what every other asshole who comes to Southern California to be a director.
Right.
So I went to film school. I took my chance at being a director. I found that I liked building a crew more than I liked actually shooting a movie. That was more interesting to me. So I kind of just tried to survive for years off of whatever I could do in LA. So for a while I was an assistant editor. For a while I worked in like event project management. Like I just helped people go and build the runways for like fashion shows.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then for a while I worked as I worked in marketing for homeopathic beauty care items, and slowly I started kind of like bleeding into marketing a little bit, and marketing kind of was for me the same way that I was doing. I was really good at promoting other people's stuff, better than I was promoting my own. So I found that like I was better at getting other people's ideas out there than I was necessarily going and making my own. You know, especially when it came to wanting to do films. I just wasn't interested in promoting my own films, but I was really good at helping building a team in order to do that. So I got into the marketing space. Eventually, I got comfortable enough doing it that I went to go client-based for a while. I worked in the crowdfunding space when Kickstarter was fresh and young.
Right.
Like my first campaign was for Saving Throw, which was on ages and ages ago. One of the first like people doing role-playing games on YouTube kind of a situation. Wow. And then I just started to be like a crowdfunding Kickstarter guy, and somehow I got on this wonky reality show called King of the Nerds, which was on TBS.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know this?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oof.
Welcome to Nerdvana.
That's right.
I still can hear Curtis Armstrong's voice in my head just yelling, "Calling on nerds!" Oh, waking up at 7 a.m.
Do you have the crown?
Oh, I have the crown, but you know, but it wasn't my crown. So I was Prince of Nerds. Anyway, I did that, and then kind of like I took advantage of my 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, I had 5 minutes, so I started meeting a lot of people, and I started coming around, and I met a couple people over at Geek and Sundry who were like, "Hey, we're doing a crowdfunding campaign. You said you do a bunch of those. Like, would you come in and interview?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll come in and interview. Hell yeah, I'll do a campaign for." I wonder what it is.
Right.
You know, and I go in there and the person interviewing me is Will.
Right.
You know, and he's interviewing with me for Tabletop Season 3 to do their Indiegogo campaign.
Yeah.
And so I do that campaign, and it does well, and we all kind of, I just don't leave, you know.
Right. Well, I mean, why would you until they throw you out?
And that's basically what it is. I
Yeah.
basically said, I'm going to hang out until you throw me out,
Yeah.
you know. So I picked up and helped where I could and started getting more involved. And then when they were purchased by Legendary, I moved over and started doing stuff with them. I helped out on Season 3 and Season 4 of Tabletop and met the director, started doing content with him. And slowly, it was just a slow grind, but that was really only in the last like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Those 6 years beforehand was just, I came out of college right when the writer strike, the WGA writer strike.
Yeah, that was a rough time in LA.
It was hard,
Yeah.
and no one was working.
Yeah.
You know, I worked in the mailroom at DreamWorks Animation for like a year and a half, just trying to ride that out.
Right.
Before
Opening
that-
people's mail, trying to look for leads.
Yeah. No, I mean, I kid you not. Like, it was one of those situations where some guys had been in there for years.
Yeah.
Because that was a natural recruiting ground
Yeah.
for people who would maybe be project managers.
Yeah.
And I spent some guys have been there 6 years.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Wow.
thankfully I
Long
managed to get out of there in a year.
Yeah.
But it was because I took the time and effort to get to know the people who actually were coming
Yeah.
and talking with it, and
Yeah.
like when I would do my mail rounds, I wouldn't just do my job, I would do my job plus.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
how you work in those
Yeah.
worlds.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's true in anything.
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
you know, the people that say I'm waiting for them to promote me because that's the thing I
Right.
want to do. Really? Well, guess
Good
what?
luck.
The one that's like working their ass off and doing a phenomenal job and going in above and beyond, they're the one that's going to get the opportunity.
That's always how it is.
Yeah.
And it's the thing that the thing that when you know I talk, because when I was in marketing, I used to hire a lot of interns as well too, because
Yeah.
that was a way to find the people who are either natural influencers,
Yeah.
or people who would be great to kind of rise up in that maven society
Yeah.
of like, you know a lot about the tricks in the trade. Okay, I'm going to send you out for either event marketing or promotion or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
And the whole point, if you ever want to be an intern or work in an intern position, your job is to become indispensable.
Yeah.
Okay, because as soon as you become indispensable, then you leaving because your internship's over, people are like, whoa, wait, where are you going?
Right.
And then that's honestly how that works.
Yeah.
You know.
So my strategy for Renegade is going to stay until they kick me out.
That's a good plan
Wow.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, I'm just going to wait, and if nobody throws me out, I'm just going to hang around and keep annoying Sarah and coming up with new things to do.
Yeah, that's the main plan. It's to annoy
Yeah.
me mostly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the funniest things about you two is when you first.
Oh, no.
Where's this going?
So when I first met you and everything, and it was very awesome, a very great experience. And then all of a sudden you say, "You're never going to do an RPG." Never going to do an RPG. Sarah, I told Sarah,
never gets old.
don't let me do an RPG.
It's absolutely a true
What is it,
story.
about 10,
It wasn't the
50?
only thing, but I was when she came on board, I said a bunch of things. These are things, and one of the things I did say to you too was that I don't like yes men. And I said, I always want you to tell me like it is, and if you think we're doing something that we shouldn't be doing, speak up, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, and also I love RPGs so much that you should never let me publish an RPG because I will just do it for fun. And right now, that's not the best use of my time. I need to be doing things growing the company, not doing a passion project that I just want to do because I love it. And then, oh no,
well, okay, I don't actually blame you.
Ivan was like the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Because
Delicious.
that's right.
I have a photo for later.
We have a photo for later. All right. Yeah, and then we were actually at the Alliance Open House about 6 months after Sarah started.
It didn't last long.
And Paul and George, they weren't really even pitching. We were just hanging out and talking about games and world building and all that stuff, and told me about this thing that they were working on for a few years called Overlight, and that really they wanted to do it as an RPG, and that's, because that's their background and that's their passion. And I go, let's do it. And she's sitting right there.
Slap in the face.
Yeah.
A shock of
Yeah.
gray just appears.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't really have this color hair. This is all
Yeah.
just because of this.
I mean, what that taught me the most is that I can't depend on Sarah.
No.
That was the lesson learned.
There's
My
only
heart.
so much I can do.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
it was like, well, she let me do it. She didn't stop me.
She
like
was
I
like-
told her to.
I was like the bull was pushing at the gate.
Oh,
and-
that gate's open now.
Yeah.
There's
know,
no
and then I'm
going
like-
back.
Kids on bikes, outbreak undead. Ivan.
I know. I just feel like at this point it's like you were going through recovery, and you had a support group, and then I come along with
Abusive relationship.
and I come along with I'm just enabling you, man. I'm just giving you tasty treats, and you can't say no. So
Cherry on top.
Cherry on top.
Am I your banana sundae, Scott?
What does that mean?
Oh man! If
Well, it's
only.
good because to be totally honest, like when you came along at literally the perfect time because we were ready to grow.
Yeah.
And we were ready to. I was literally looking for a Scott and a Sarah,
Yeah.
and then Scott and Sarah came along, and it was like, all right, well done.
Right. See, good job.
Awesome. No, I'm very happy to be working with you. And one other thing that we were doing together is International Tabletop Day.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah.
we showed off our first proof copies of Wonderland this week.
Everyone loves Wonderland, by the way. Now they're so excited about it. So
Yeah, so Wonderland, if you don't know, is an exclusive International Tabletop Day project that we're doing, and it's an entire game. And the only way you can get it is International Tabletop Day.
So it's essentially it's a micro game that you can pick up for the day. And right now it's exclusive in the sense that your friendly local game store should and can order it in order to provide it for International Tabletop Day, but it's not going to be sold online, and it's not going to be sold in June, all right? It's basically going to be available for International Tabletop Day, and really not to say it won't ever be available after that point, but for this time, it is only available through the event, which is April 28th,
That's right.
Yeah.
Friendly local game stores everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, literally everywhere. We
Everywhere.
have distributors in Canada, in Europe, and Australia, and Southeast Asia this year.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome.
yeah.
So, chat room, how many of you guys are going to International Tabletop Day at your friendly local game store? And if you are, what's the name of your store?
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's hear
nice.
about them.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Put those links up
that's right.
and go and make sure your event's registered on tabletopday.com.
There is a request for Kids on Bikes deck builder, so just so you know.
Oh, Kids on Bites deck builder. Interesting.
Under consideration.
Sure. Thank you.
Email johngilmore@johngilmore.com.
It's bad. I have a when I do Game the Game with Becca now.
Yeah.
I have so many inside jokes from that show that I should not bleed on when I do other shows. Whenever I hear deck building games, and all I can think about is just building them sweet decks.
That's right.
Building that, check out my sweet deck, you know?
So speaking of Becca.
Oh, yes.
I believe that Becca is the emperor to Sarah's Darth Vader. As far as the...
Whoa!
Becca cheats.
Whoa! Yeah.
Becca cheats, sort of. I
Is she
mean,
Palpatine?
I think so.
That makes you a Sith Lord, girl.
Yeah.
You need to introduce me.
Yeah.
Becca and I.
Oh my
need to
God,
hang
you
out.
two would kill it together. You'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
You'd also win everything because you're cheaters.
Exactly.
But
If we could do a co-op game where it's her and me against everybody else.
oh, by the way, Elisa Tej and I came up with the best game today. By the way, so
Yeah?
I'll tell you about it later. But it's awesome. Shut
Serious.
up. Yes. No. Becca honestly is the best. She is the best. She's been taking over doing Game the Game, which is now on YouTube on the Geek and Sundries channel, and we used to host that show together for like 2.5 years. We hosted that show together, and now it's not live anymore. It's cut, but it's just I've never met someone who's more competent in board games and more passionate and so much fun to play with.
Yeah,
so,
she's amazing.
Yeah, she's great. I highly recommend her on all the things. I'm actually gonna be shooting with her on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So.
Cool. Yeah.
That's very neat.
But there was, back in the tabletop day and everything else, right? The hashtag.
Well, that's right, because I mean that was the joke, right? On Lanterns, when we did Lanterns,
Yep.
was that Becca was the worst, and that joke came out from when we were doing Game the Game ages ago, and really the only reason she got that is because chat, like someone I believed on set opened up donuts because chat had got us donuts. We love you, chat. We always love you, chat. They got us donuts, but then someone opened it. I think it was Zach even. Someone opened it, and they were like, "There's half a donut in here. Who ate half a donut?" And Beck was like, "That was me. I ate the donut." She was like, "Did you cut it?" She's like, "No, I just bit it and then left it in there." And I think Zach, like, to quote to this day, I think Zach Ewing said, "Becca, you were the worst," you know. And it just kind of stuck from there, to the point of where Geek and Sundry for a while had a half donut emoji.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it
wow.
was like that deep into the world.
Oh,
so
we need a Sarah emoji. What would that be?
Devil horns and fire eyes.
Oh. Just not subtle at all.
I think honestly it should
Did
just
I just say something?
it should just be a Sarah's telltale glasses with a Kylo Ren mask.
Oh, that's pretty good. Over the mask.
Over the mask. That's right, over the mask.
Yeah.
And then are you going to kind of be whining?
Whining?
Yeah.
No, I would never do that.
Going downhill quickly.
Just so that the chat room likes me more, because these guys obviously don't. Let's give away a free game. How's that sound? Does that sound exciting? Awesome. So I have a game piece here, and Steph is over there in the chat room watching. So I'm going to show this piece, and the first person to guess it, you guys can't win.
Oh,
Why?
Wait.
That's right.
Sorry. All right, so I'm going to show this, and hopefully you can see it well enough. And then the first person to type in the correct name of this game into chat will win a copy of the game. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
It's a jackal. It's a jackal. It's a jackal. Is it a jackal? It's a jackal. It's a jackal.
What that means. Wow, it's really pretty in these lights.
It is.
Right?
It's beautiful.
Nice. It's like
Iridescent.
precious.
Wait, no, I can't do a bit like this. Oh, what was the say my name, Sebastian? Say my name. What's my name?
We have a winner.
Oh.
Oh, yay!
Ronald.
Oh, so the correct answer was Planet Defenders. So if you haven't checked out this game, Steph is going to put a link in there for Planet Defenders on our website so you can go see it. But this is super cool, and it has minis in it.
It does have minis. I have a copy now
You do.
as well, and I will be painting that in 2 weeks.
Oh,
Oh,
very
nice.
Yeah, so
And are you going to do that on your show?
We are. We're going to do it on Painting Handle with Minis. There's only 3 minis in there, so we should
Yeah.
be able to get them done in the one episode.
Right.
But they are
Three
adorable,
robots. Yeah.
adorable little bots. I've already put taken them out, looked at the bases. I love the clear bases that you guys have.
Yeah. And they're flying.
Yeah,
So they're
so
like
good.
elevated and they look like they're flying through space.
They're so nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're very excited. And we also, just so you know, I have another copy of it too, and someone will be winning it from our channel as well.
Oh,
Very nice.
exciting.
So after you paint those miniatures,
Yes.
and you have this professional painter now,
Yes. Yeah, Dave Taylor, who's freaking amazing.
and then where do those miniatures go when they're done?
Okay, so most of the time we do hold a contest
Really?
so that someone will win those miniatures.
Oh.
But because Dave is working with us and he, I'd love to be able to pay him more. Sometimes because he has small children, he does get to keep a game.
Oh,
So the
that's
painted,
cute.
the painted copy
All right.
will go to him and his kids.
Okay,
Aw.
that's very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
But otherwise, we've done stuff we're doing things this year for charity.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a couple miniature games that are charity based. We're going to do, and of course, we're always giving away stuff. You know, always. I mean,
That's the best way to do it.
yeah.
What's the charity?
That's up. Dave Taylor
Up the
is,
air.
We're discussing it. It's going to be for the end of the year,
Cool.
post Gen Con.
Very
We'll
nice.
probably announce it at Gen Con.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
So
Charity raises are always great, especially when you're doing Twitch, especially when you're on Facebook or any kind of live streaming.
Yeah.
So.
You do a lot of those, don't you?
Yeah, actually, last week I was at Extra Life United for World Builders. Oh, not World, I'm sorry. Extra Life United for Extra Life. And then the week before that, I was at Erica Ishii's charity fundraise for World Builders.
Nice.
That's
right.
awesome.
Yeah, we did. It was board games for charity. The sponsor came in to sponsor a prize pool for a tournament and just raise money trying to get. I think they raised 40,000.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
in 3
Yeah.
days.
yeah, that's
That is
cool.
crazy.
It's nuts.
So, funny story though about how we got started doing this. The live stream side of it is Zach's fault.
Is whose fault?
Zach.
Oh, Eubank?
Yeah, Zach Eubank's fault. So I watched their very first air where they did a charity thing for Hyper RPG.
Yeah.
I watched that and I said, "Hey, boss, look what they're doing. Check that out. We could do that. Let's do it for the Kidney Foundation."
Cool.
And we're not going to go with what they raised because they raised a lot of
They
money.
did do it because they have they Team Human,
Yeah.
which is where they're proprietors of, are a very charitable giving
Yeah,
community.
they raised a lot of money. I said, well, let's not go with that number. Let's go with like $4,000. We raised a little bit more than that, and 2 weeks later, studio was made. They're like, oh my god, this is legit.
Yeah.
And and it was done.
Yeah.
And
No,
here
that's
we are.
really cool.
Yeah,
That is super cool.
small
Nice.
community.
Small community. We're all
Yeah.
just a bunch of nerds.
Yeah, that's right. I wish I could cross my one eye.
Hey, you know, what else
Nerds
we-
doing good. Eventually, we'll get to a point where it's like, because Extra Life does do a lot of board game stuff, but I expect at some point the board gamers will rally for either they will start to take over more of the charitable giving element onto it, or there'll be something that will help bring us into the active part of the community, so we're not just spending money on board games all the time.
Right.
We can spend money on charitable giving as well
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's a good thing. So you know who else we met with this week? You don't?
Well, yeah.
So our French
Okay.
team from the French office was in Renegade France.
Nice.
That's the way you say it.
Really mangled that. Subtitles, please.
I'm disappointed in you.
I know.
Honestly.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm really, Anyway,
Who'd you meet from France, Scott?
so Guillaume and his team were here, and we went through all the new stuff coming up and working on their calendar, and they'll have some news pretty soon about new games being localized for the French market.
Sweet.
And so there's a
Nice.
lot of stuff. Those guys are doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool. So
Only because you got a cool shirt.
I do have a cool shirt. They brought me this shirt. So it's Renegade Game Studios France, if you can't see it. So
Just sucking you up with swag. is
that's
what they're
right.
Yep.
Yeah, they knew
Good job,
better.
guys.
Yeah, that's
They,
pretty
they
cool.
also brought. We have a room full of samples of all our games that they've done to date in French.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
We need a
Cool.
picture of
Yeah.
that. We'll post that
You know
later.
what clank is in French?
Clank.
I don't know.
Le clank.
Le clank.
That's wonderful.
That makes me so happy.
Le clank. Tout à l'heure.
So I actually
So,
had.
you know what they call clank in France?
I actually had the ABCs of RPGs translated into French
Really?
as well
Huh.
too.
Oh.
Yeah. So
How did A, B, C, and French?
No, it's just
Is it the same language?
And honestly, they had to switch a few things like Bouquet Livre, you know. So they just switched around a few of the items, but they kept all the art and they kept the rhyming scheme.
That's
really?
impressive. That's hard to do.
So impressed.
Yeah, that's
they even
really
got like
good.
Albert, like
Okay.
Ouvre, shoot, I forgot what bear is. So, but it's there and it's awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have this game Ex Libris, and so it's It's based around the alphabet, and you're taking all your cards with books on it, but the cards have 510 unique little book titles that are all funny and just like super entertaining. So all our localization partners are like, we want to make Ex Libris, and I'm like, I'm gonna warn you.
Yes.
There's a massive amount of stuff that needs to be localized, and it's 510 books. So that was one of the projects we were talking about today, and they're like, this is hard.
Yeah.
It's a lot because they're funny, and you're also, all the books correspond to the alphabet, the letter that's on the card, but even just like the range within the letter scheme and everything else. And you have to come up with these things that are funny, and they're all inside jokes, and they're things that, jokes into pop culture and things that are relevant in our culture. So they have to truly localize it and do something that works for the French culture too, but still staying within the game. They'll do an amazing job, but it's a big task.
So what's the big one as far as that you wanted in there for your pop culture reference?
Oh, in there?
Oh. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Did you put your fandom in there? Your big fandom?
So I didn't do them. So it was Adam MacGyver, the game designer, wrote all 510 cards. He did a phenomenal job. Yeah. It was crazy. Like when we signed that game, he said, "This is my vision to have all those little it's all flavor, right? You don't need it for the game, but it makes the game so much richer." And he said, "I want to do that if you think that will work and be okay." And I'm like, "Yeah, go for it." And he started this Google Doc with all the cards, and he's writing them and working on them, and he's like, just check on it, make sure everything looks good. And he knocked out 510 cards, and they're all brilliant. Like, there's puns and all sorts of great stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they're really great.
I found it. The ABCs of RPGs in French. Yeah, I found it.
All right.
It's so they did the French and then they did the English meaning. So in the original book, it's A is for adventure. May you always be on one. All right. So this is Et comme l'aventure qui t'attend dans ces pages, which is A is for the adventure that awaits on these pages.
Oh, that's cute.
And then and then it goes B is for book, the source of all of our fun. Well, they switched it out with our K, which is kingdoms, which is a little like bizarre with kingdom stuff. Yeah. It's B comme bizarre, explorons ces villages. So ces pages, ces villages, and that's just B is for bizarre. Let's explore this village. By the way, I'm terrible at my French is awful. So, and C comme ces créatures de toutes des tailles et toutes des races. C is for creatures of all sizes and races. D comme des piétures comme tous les faces, which is D is for dice. Can you count all the sides? Which is the original thing on it. So they killed it.
Yeah,
it's like they kept the meaning and the rhyming scheme, and they still kept all the art.
It's hard. People don't realize, like, taking a product that was built in one language and then localizing. It's not translation, right? Translation is not the term.
No.
It's not just taking it and converting all the text to a different language.
Right.
Localizing is making it relevant in that culture and comprehensible, right? And fitting that market.
And keeping the spirit
of
what the original text was inside of it. Like you can't just directly translate A is for adventure, may you always be on one. It has to be something else. It has to sound right into it. And so like A is for adventure that awaits in these pages, that sounds good in French. Yeah. And it keeps the meaning. Yeah. Which is what's important. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's tough.
It is. It's real work. It's really cool, though.
So, speaking of localization projects, we have a special thing to celebrate today, which is Byzance. It's the release of that today. So, if you haven't gone to your local game store and picked that up yet,
there you go.
You certainly can. It's very exciting. And, we're getting out of time, aren't we?
Are we?
We're getting pretty close out of time.
But people want to know about Prowler's Passage and T-Dragon. So, if you want to say something fast...
Oh, awesome.
But before that, just so you know, Byzance means my pants in Arabic.
Don't trust Rick.
I don't know if
I've been over there.
Oh yeah, I haven't been to the Middle East. I guess you're the only one at this table. No, you.
Oh, I haven't been, but I'm still not trusting you. Are you crazy?
Well,
Almost pulled that card out.
Yeah.
Guys.
After this, we're gonna go play poker.
Veteran.
I've been to Dubai.
Did you have pants on?
Sometimes.
Awesome.
I want to get someone in a military hospital just working on me with no pants on.
Oh.
It's the best.
I can make it happen. I still have friends in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good time.
On that exciting note, we are going to be back in 2 weeks, and so until then, you'll just have to keep an eye open for what our next exciting show is going to be about.
Can I drop one more bomb?
I'd
real
love
quick?
it.
Yeah.
All right, just so you guys know, if you go to the Game Trade Media Facebook page, the pinned comment, a pinned subject up there is a big contest we're throwing right now.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Yeah,
if
this
you
is
go
cool.
there, it's a Gleam campaign, and if you
Gleam.
hit all of our social media entry points in there, someone and a friend is going to win a round trip ticket to San Diego Comic-Con with a hotel stay at the Manchester Grand Hyatt.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's a really
and
big deal.
4-day passes to San Diego Comic-Con plus previews night, and they get to take away some Diamond Select Toys San Diego Comic-Con exclusive items.
Holy moly, there's almost too much value there.
Yeah,
It's
that's
huge.
And that's literally for not costing you anything.
Yeah,
That's a bunch of likes and shares.
That's it.
Yeah.
I also have to make a photo album.
This one's not nearly as cool, but if you also want to go check out projectalpha.com for the code Frontier, F-R-O. Wow. Frontier. 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 For the code Frontier, you can get 60 days free to check out Outbreak Undead's live play show, We're Alive Frontier, as well as Sagas of Sundry. So.
It is amazing. That show, like that set that
Wow.
you guys put together for that show
Sick.
is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
incredible.
want that table.
I'm very, very proud of it. And yes, I asked if I could keep that table, and the answer was yes, but it's so big.
Can you move it? Is it really made out of concrete?
No.
Okay.
Sarah.
It's CGI.
It's a flat that has foam core, and that's
yeah.
been laminated, and it's basically had a sealant put on top of it, and they chipped it away and colored and painted it. So.
But this is the best game table you have ever seen
God.
anywhere. You need to tune in, even if it's just to see the table, and then you'll stay because the show
I
is
mean, for
freaking
the
amazing.
thematic of
Yeah.
for the thematic of what the
Yeah.
content is,
Yeah.
that is perfect.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Yeah.
it's amazing.
It's cool.
Yes, sir.
And there's bad things that happen in the show.
Yeah.
Yes.
So not without giving anything away, but how many episodes do you think it will take until people just start dropping like flies?
Well, so we're on the third episode dropped today.
Okay, but I'm asking. I guess what I'm asking is, how much confidence do you have in these people?
Well, we already shot the whole thing,
Right.
so I already know everything that's happened. But I throw that question back to you. We're in the third episode right now. So far, no one's dead. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert. How long do you think it's going to take?
So I think Vince is gonna go down first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my guess.
And Vincent in our show,
Yeah.
Vince plays Asher Emerson Stern III.
Yes.
Yep.
Who is literally, he's in the world, it's 17 years after the outbreak, and industry has started to crop back up on the eastern states, and his father owns like the automotive industrial part, and he's he's funding this trip out west.
Yeah.
So, and you think he's the first one to go, huh?
Yeah, I think at some point he has this like Hicks moment where, game over, man, we're all gonna die, and yeah.
And something bad happens.
Yeah.
So,
Jenny.
Jenny. Okay, you think she's going to kick it?
Yep.
She thinks she's too self-sacrificing?
Yeah, I'm not totally convinced in her use of firearms.
Oh.
Got it.
Oh.
Okay, great.
All right.
Have you watched any video? Do you have a bid?
Okay, I have not watched any of it yet, but I do have a bid based on how many episodes are in total in this season.
So there will be anywhere from 10 to 12.
Okay, based on that, I'm going to go with episode 5 is where we're going to see our first casualty.
Okay.
All right.
Episode 5 is your
All
first
right.
casualty.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So when we're done here, we're gonna start a pool.
Taunting. That's great. Actually, I think that's best. I encourage that. I encourage gambling. No, I don't. Don't do gambling, kids. So.
We're in Reno right now.
That's right.
Just FYI.
It's in the air.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we've taken up a lot of this wonderful cruise time, and it looks like they would love to go to dinner. So
That would be awesome.
yes.
There's a buffet with my name on it.
Yeah, they've been working
Nobody
really
else better
hard.
be there.
I just want to say that you should go on Instagram and Twitter and see some stories I've been posting from Gamma. Just little videos. You might have seen some cuts from before we started today.
Well,
Oh, you should go look for those.
That's on Instagram.
well,
so
Steph,
yeah,
voice of Renegade from
Yeah.
afar.
yeah.
Where do they find us on Instagram, Twitter, and
Instagram.
whatnot?
It's on Instagram. It is renegade_games or game_studios, and then on Twitter it's Renegade Play Renegade
At Play Renegade.
at Blade Renegade.
At Play Renegade.
Yeah, yeah.
Does he say
Is that at Play
At-
Renegades?
At Play Renegade? Is
At-
that what she said?
at Play Renegade?
Oh my gosh.
Good, he has someone else to taunt.
Play Renegade.
And on Facebook, it's Play RGS.
Yeah.
Guys,
This
guys,
is
get it
Sarah's
together.
fault, by the way.
No, this is our charm. Or that's what we tell ourselves.
Sarah?
Delete all the accounts. Start over.
Yeah. we
All
just
be-
we just want to make sure you guys have that memory and you can keep using it all the time. It'll
Guys,
keep
it's
you
It's a
healthy.
game. It's a board game.
It's a game.
It's a Play Renegade board game, social game.
Find us, the game.
Good luck. Well, on that bombshell, thank you guys so much. It's been a wonderful evening. Thank you, Steph, for moderating. Thank you, John, for running all of our behind-the-scenes stuff. Thank you, Rick, for
Pleasure, absolutely.
having us on
Thank
your
you.
fantastic show and joining us on our show. And Ivan, it's been fun. Thank you. And Scott, I'm glad you're here too.
Yeah,
She lies.
that's it.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Have fun.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.